peace is a creation of a system who is in conflict. If there would be no conflict, there would be no need for peace. It's very simple. So, when you are running after peace in the world, ask yourself, why do we need peace? Freedom is the biggest lie of the monetary system. Actually, what really means to be free?
The word freedom has really no definition unless you sit down and ask the person, what do you mean by freedom? If I don't like the neighbor next door and I shoot him, is that what you mean by freedom? What do you mean by freedom? Oh no, manage limitations on human behavior. Then don't use the word freedom. Just say that in the United States there's a certain range of behavior that's permissible, and you list that range of behavior that's permissible. But you don't use words like freedom. There can never be freedom in a society.
Right.
You know, when countries start to tell their people, you're free and you have democracy, if they had to keep saying that, watch out. I don't know what freedom is when, how many millions, over 40 million people can't even get medical care. You don't drive the kind of car you want to drive, you drive the kind of car you can afford to drive. I don't know how many people live in the kind of house and they're free to live in the kind of house they want to live in. They live in what they can afford to live in. They don't have foods. They can't send their kids to school. They don't know what's going on and they don't know how they're being manipulated, but they believe these words.
The interesting thing about this country is they talk about how we have freedom of choice. You know, we have freedom of choice. Yeah, very limited. It's an important thing, limited choice. Two political parties, essentially, two. Big media companies, 5, 6.
Max.
Yeah. Oil companies, down to 3 now, I think, overall, 3 or 4. Banks, the big brokerage houses, the big accounting firms, all of the things that are important reduced in choice. Newspapers in a city, how many? Used to be 3, 4, now it's 1 or 2. They're owned by the same people, and they also own a radio station and a TV station. But jelly beans, 32 flavors. Ice cream, all the things that don't matter. The unimportant things, a lot of choices. And you know what I say? You know what your freedom of choice is in America? Paper or plastic. That's it, man. It comes down to paper or plastic, cash or charge, aisle or window, smoking or non-smoking, Coke or Pepsi. These are your choices. Everything else is kind of laid out for you. You get to do what they really want. They do what they want. The ones who own this country, they do what they want.
Speaking of our choices being usurped or taken away from us, what do you make of what? And I'm fascinated to ask you this because all the things that you've been talking about for years. I mean, we've come full circle on this stuff. And that's why I was so fascinated, and thank you for coming on the program.
Sure.
But here we are now, 30 years after you were talking about it, with this huge debate, this huge fight about whether or not our civil liberties are being taken away from us. What are your thoughts on?
Well, I think if you looked at the record of laws which have been passed in the last 30 to 40 years, there's a thing called social hysteria. Social hysteria is whipped up generally by the media. Crime, in Nixon's time, crime was the big social hysteria issue. There's too much crime, they're coddling, the courts are coddling the criminals, we have to tougher laws. So a lot of civil liberties went away in terms of the rights of criminals and the rights of the accused and people going on trial. These were limited, they were cut down. These rights which are guaranteed by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Another social hysteria, drugs. The drug thing happened, same thing. Big flow of drugs, we're going to fight the drugs, we need newer, tougher laws, we need draconian sentences, we need to be able to go into houses, we need to be able to do this, and we have reasonable, all of these shortcuts have resulted in less liberties because of social hysteria. The media whips up the frenzy, people get all excited, the legislature passes it, the president, the executive signs it, and the judges, then the judicial branch okays it sometime later when it gets to them. And what has happened is you have less freedom, less liberties, less civil liberties, less rights. And the third social hysteria is terrorism. That was whipped up. Now it's a little more cause there. You look at the 9/11, it's a very dramatic event. But that too has been used with this Patriot Act to reduce our liberties. They say, well, if you have nothing to hide, what are you worried about? You know that whole argument? Oh, yeah. You tell me about the people that are, just getting out of prison because of the DNA. If they had nothing to hide. It's just, listen, this country is owned by the ownership class. They do pretty much what they want.
Let's see how free you are in the monetary system. Since you were born, you're labeled, and an ID is assigned to you by the monetary system without your permission. Your body needs food, most is held by the monetary system, and, to obtain it, you must follow the rules, school, college, work, laws. There are so many laws that even your words are limited. For example, you can't make in public any joke about any existent religion, or to express another opinion about that, because you'd be considered insane, weird, violent. You do not choose the country where you are born, and thus, you get to learn a language that this country offers you. A limitation for the many languages used in the world, social classes, etc. Try to analyze how free you are, or rather, how constrained you are, by the monetary system. There will never be freedom, because this word cannot be defined. You are free in some limits, so these limits need to be expanded by creating a society based on the Earth's resources and abundance of goods and services, a society that relies on intelligent information for all human beings. Monetary system, unfortunately, cannot move to such a society, because it's based on profit, and the goods and services abundance would lead directly to its destruction. Look at the planet. Think about how free are you as human being? How free are you to discover more about your existence? How much have you access to technology? How free are you to express your ideas? On the planet Earth, you have to spend around 8 hours a day, from 24, to survive. Virtually, 4/5 of all your life, you will spend at school or work, meaning, in some places that no longer have purpose. And then, when are you free to discover about your existence? The universe, about how your body works, about death, about all that surrounds you. And, if you are not interested in such subjects, why do you live for? Or why do you consider yourself an intelligent form of life?